All right, we're going to do a quick video for fundamental algebra on factoring by the greatest common factor. So in this particular case, all we're going to do is grab the numbers that are the same in each of these and factor them out front. Think of this as the reverse distribution property. So if I had 2x minus 4 like this, 2 times x minus 4, I would distribute it, and I would end up with 2x minus 8. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to start with this and then factor it out. So what's the number that's the same in both these terms? There's a 2 in both of those. So if I divide each number by 2, the 2 goes out front. This 2 would cancel out and give me an x. 8 divided by 2 gives me a 4. And we're reverse distributing property. So we're pulling stuff out. So what's the same in this term and in this term? Well, they both have an x. So if we take an x out of both of those, we'll have x 4x minus 3. And that's it. You would type it in just like that. No big deal. Over here, it's a little bit different because they're using exponents. And we've got numbers as well. So in each of these numbers, the number 5 is in there. So you can factor a 5 out of each. So if I pull a 5 out, I can also pull y's out. Each of these have at least one y. So if I pull a 5 and a y out, 10 divided by 5 is 2, and if I pull one of the y's out, I only have 2 left. If I pull a 5 out of this, 20 divided by 5 is the number 4, and if I take a y out, I only have one y left. Now if I pull the 5 and the y out, technically this is times 1, so I'll just slap a minus 1 on the end, because we have 5 times y times 1, and if I take the 5y out to put it out front, there's a 1 left over, and not just any 1, it happens to be a negative 1. Now this would be the answer you would type in on your quiz. You would type it 5y parenthesis 2y. There's no way to do superscript in Google, which I think is really stupid. I can't wrap my brain around the idea that Google hasn't figured that out. And yes, I use the word stupid because it is. It's a word we can use. Google should have had that figured out by now. So what ends up happening is we're going to power of this 2 like this and use shift 6 to put a caret in. And then we'll say plus 4y minus 1 close parenthesis. And you would type it in just like that into your quiz as an answer. Go ahead and do another one. On this one, we've got 5b plus 9b cubed. There's a b in each of these, but nothing goes into 5 that also goes into a 9. So this is going to be an easy one. We'll put a b out front, and we'll have 5 plus 9 b to the power of 2 because we took one of those b's away, and now we only have 2 left. On the next one, nothing goes into 18 that also goes into 7, but they're both negative, so we can pull a negative out. There's also 3 y's here and 2 y's here, so we'll pull at least 2 y's out because they share those. And we'll end up with 18 plus 7 with a y on it. And that's how you would type it, except that you would say y to the power of 2, because you can't do the squared on the classroom. All right, so if we move on to the next one, this is going to be 9d squared minus 8 squared. Nothing goes into 9 that also goes into 8, so those are stuck. There's only one negative, so we'll leave that negative alone. Over here, we had 2 negatives, so we pulled them both out so that we had a negative out front. But here we don't, so we'll leave them alone. As a matter of fact, we have a d squared and we have an 8 squared, so we don't even have a d that we can pull out. So the answer to this one is going to be 9d to the power of 2 minus 8 to the power of 2. Nothing changed. It ends up being the same. On this one, we've got a couple of things. The number 8, the number 4, and the number 2 all have a number 2 in it. This has 4 x's, 3 x's, and 2 x's. So I can pull at least 2 x's out of each of those. This will end up with 4x to the power of 2 plus x minus 1, because remember, this whole thing is still being multiplied by 1. So if I pull a 2x squared out front, I still have a 1 left over. Once again, we would say x to the power of 2, and we would say x to the power of 2 simply because Google doesn't have that option, which I think is really silly. It just doesn't make any sense to me. All right, for some reason, the camera wasn't working for this video. Don't know why, but I'll try and see if I can get the camera back up on the next one. It says it's recording. Maybe it is, and it's just not showing. But there we go. Okay, Embrace the magic. We'll see you in the next video.